Big LEZ's League.
Hello and welcome back to Big LEZ's League and all rugby league experience. I'm your host, Big Les. I've got the one and only Don with me, and what we're going to do is we've made our little Maori and All-Star teams, but how rude of me, I'm going to introduce the one and only Don, the draft Don. How are we, big fella?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've seen you be putting out some good stuff. I'm keen to get on here and go head to head with you, to be honest.
Yeah,
Really
I am
trying to put myself up against you.
so excited, man. It is going to be so sick. We've got two awesome sides here. I had a look at your team when you sent it to me, and I was like, geez, Indigenous have a pretty stacked lineup here as well. And it was just so hard cramming everybody in, and you don't know who's eligible at some time. So I was basically looking at the past lineups as well. It was just hectic. But we'll go through yours first. Why don't you read out to me your once in a generation sick Indigenous team 2022? Read it out to me.
All right, we got Jaden Campbell, the Fox, Dane Gagai, Brian Kelly, AJ, best 5'8" in the world, Cody Walker. It is meant to be Jamal Fogarty because that's what I lodged before the one and only Les informed me that one Nico Hines was absent from my team. So I'd like to make an on-the-fly maneuver. Chuck Nico in at 7 and chuck Jamal into the bin.
Oh, jeez. Poor old Jamal. He's getting absolutely...
If you can't outrun Papa and Nico,
no disrespect to Jamal if you're listening.
No,
he just got absolutely rorted.
I love Jamal, but I think Nico at 7. You got to see what he can do. Tanua Brown, Guru's favorite player of all time, Ruben Cotter at number 9. And then we got Adam Elliott, Dave Fafita, Josh Curran, Peachy, and then bench, obviously, Connor Watson, Jack White, and Jamal Fogarty, and Fui Maono.
Oh, I like this team. I really like this team. All right. I'm going to read out my team, the Maori side. I was basically looking at all the past lineups. Forgive me if some of these guys aren't still eligible for the Maori selection or whatever reason they have for not playing. But I'll read out my team now. I've got Kalen Ponga at fullback, Dylan Wateni-Zalesniak and Bailey Simonson on the wings, Joseph Manu, Chance Nicole Klokstad in the centres. We've got Jerome Luai and Jerome Hughes in the halves. James Fisher-Harris and Jesse Bromwich in the front row with Jeremy Marshall-King at hooker. I've got Britton Nakora and Jordan Ricky in the back row with Joseph Tarpany at lock. And then my bench is Kenneth Bromwich, Nelson Asofa Solomona, if he's still in the NRL at this point, Dylan Walker, and Patrick Herbert.
Ooh, that's a bit of grunt about it, isn't it?
I know.
I'll take it.
I was picking this team and I was having a lot of fun. I'll tell you that for free. I was like, oh, so you're eligible, eh? I'm chucking you straight in there. So fun making it. All right, well, we'll go through the fullbacks first. You've got Jaden Campbell. I've got Kalen Ponga. Go through why you picked Jaden Campbell. What really stands out to you about Jaden Campbell?
So I think obviously the first choice is Trell. The suspension, for whatever reason, this not being able to play the All-Stars game doesn't count towards his 3 games left. But obviously you want Latrell in there. If I can't have Latrell, who's better than the son of the bloke who started the All-Star game? So if anyone can tell Jaden a little bit about what it means to line up at number 1 for the Indigenous side, I think it'll be Preston. I think you think back to when Brandon Smith had a bit of a blowout game for the Maoris, and I just have a feeling that if Jaden Campbell gets that number 1 spot, just where he's at in his career, could really turn up and become a bit of a household name from it. He just really excited me last year. I think he had 7 games, 5 tries, 3 assists. I mean, that's a try or assist in every game. That's not too shabby. And he moves like a fucking cut snake. So, yeah, no brainer for me at number 1.
Jesus, I forgot about Brandon Smith. I had Jeremy Marshall-King.
I
had Jeremy Marshall-King in there. What was I doing? Oh, that's getting changed. I'm changing that. You got your change. I'm getting my change. I'm putting my Brandon Smith in there for sure. That's a no-brainer, and I completely forgot about him. I was looking at all the past lineups. Bloody Wikipedia had me shot. Lied to me.
Fair's
Wow.
fair.
That's big. All right. Well, less about the number 9, more about the number 1. I had Kalen Ponga. And I picked Kalen Ponga because he's an out-and-out freak. And last year he played so well. I think it was last year or the year before he played. And done an absolute
Yeah, the game
blinder there.
before last.
Yeah, game before last. That's right, because he was injured, I'm pretty sure. He is just an absolute weapon at fullback for any side. We talk about Newcastle, whether you talk about, Queensland. This one is playing for the Maori All-Stars. He's playing for his culture. I mean, as if he's not going to have an absolute ripper of a game, and you've got to chuck him there at fullback. I think he's just the obvious choice for me. So wingers, we're going to go wingers. We'll talk about both at the same time. So you've got Josh Adokar and Alex Johnston. You couldn't have a better winger pairing for this generation. It is just sick.
Ebony and Ivory, isn't it? Fastest man alive and the fastest try scorer alive. It's good stuff. I saw last year the Indigenous side only scored 1 try, and it was AJ off the back of Latrell. So it's like if you're gonna up your scoring, you're gonna get a bloke that scored 30 tries in last year. So that AJ picks himself as the out and out number 1 try scorer last year. And the Fox picks himself too. Plays for Australia, plays for New South Wales. Freak at Melbourne Storm with premierships. He's just I talk super coach a lot, but if we're talking just you're picking your best wingers in the competition, he's well and truly in the conversation. So yeah, a bit of fun to be able to have those two pretty much locked in. It makes it a bit easy.
Yeah, geez. I wish they were Maori. I tell you that for free. I'd be chucking them straight in. That's hectic. You've definitely beat me in the winging conversation. I've got Dallin and I've got Bailey Simonson. And Bailey Simonson, geez, he had a good year last year. He was unbelievable. Do you know his super coach scorings or whatnot? He'd have to be high.
Listen. Bailey Simonson cost me my preliminary final last year. I took a punt on him, and so his name is Mud as far as my super coach team. Don't be asking me about Bailey Simonson's super coach stats. He was on fire in the weeks leading up. I think in the 3 weeks leading up to round 24, it would have been the preliminary. I think he got a 90, an 80, and a 70. I thought I got to get him in. He got 3 for me in the.
That's hectic.
But you are right. Last year he popped up out of nowhere and just was an absolute freak for the Raiders.
Well, he's at para this year. I think he's going to go so well. I think he's really going to own that winger spot. He's definitely going to be on our lips in the next few weeks. We're going to be talking about him non-stop. And then Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, he's been quite freakish as well. Like he's been unreal.
When he puts on that jersey in this game, he just turns into a different beast, doesn't he?
He was unreal last year. I think who did he put a shot on last year? I remember he put a huge shot on someone and they just absolutely flattened them.
If I'm not mistaken, he was the captain last year.
Yeah, he was the captain.
Right? Yeah.
He was the captain the year before that as well. Geez, I'm trying to think of it. If you remember, let me know, but he put a shot on someone. It was massive.
Last year was heated, man.
It was so
I went back and watched some of the highlights, and it was just, I remember, obviously it's the first game of the year, but it's like, and the All-Star game's always been a bit of not fun, it's always been contested. But last year there was 2 sin bins in the exit. They weren't mucking around last year. You could really tell that it meant something to them. And I'm so excited for this year because obviously the years before it's been hotly contested, but last year the boys were really giving, there was a few coaches I'm sure watching freaking out about what's happening to their players so close to the season. How they were pretty much playing an origin match, how much they cared. So, I remember him putting a massive smack on someone, but you're right, I don't remember his name, but he probably doesn't remember who he was either.
Yeah, fair enough, man. But he plays so well in that Maori jersey. It was just impossible for me not to pick him. And he'd probably get captain again, to be honest. He was unreal last time. And Speaking of outside backs that really have a huge impact in these sort of games, go through our centre pairings. You've got Dane Gagai and Brian Kelly. I think that was the same. Dane Gagai didn't play last year, but he is eligible for both. You snagged him here with Brian Kelly. Give us a bit of a rundown on why you picked these two.
So Dane Gagai, whenever he puts a rep jersey on, turns into a Hulk version of himself. Everyone knows that. But I think, it kind of feels like The Last Dance, doesn't it? Putting him on an edge with AJ one last time after they're going separate ways. So that picks itself there. Put them next to each other, it's always fireworks. And Kelly, I want to see what he can do with the Fox, to be honest, because I think while I like the Titans back line, and he excels in it, imagine if he had someone like the Fox off him 25 times a year. Wouldn't that just be exciting to watch? I mean, he's such an elite player at the Titans. I think if they take more steps up, he's definitely going to be one of the reasons why. He just excites me to watch. Fast, quick, can make kind of something out of nothing. Yeah, no, he picks himself.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Again, Dane Gagai has Maori descent, but if both of those guys were Maori, they'd both be in my side for sure. They're just unreal. I've got Joseph Manu, who damn right picks himself. Right picks himself. And
I love Joey Manu.
I'm not giving him away anytime soon. He's just unreal, like unstoppable. The last year was like a new version of him before. I honestly didn't think he was as good as he was. He was just so unreal. As I said, he picks himself.
When the team went down, he really stepped up. He's like, "Oh, you need me to jump in the first receiver? Easy, done. Need me to do more try assists? Easy, done." Just did everything he needed to.
I actually remember last year, I was thinking at the start of the game, like, where's Joseph Manu? What's he doing? Where is he? Does he even get picked in the side? And then all of a sudden he runs like 80 meters and scores a try, and then he's just in everything. And I was like, geez, this guy's in for a big year. And he was in 2021. He was unbelievable. And I honestly can't wait for 2022. He's going to be unreal. And Chance Nicole Clockstad I've got here as well. A lot of people forgot how good this guy is. He's been out all season with that jaw. I think it was a jaw injury. But everyone really forgot how good this guy is, and they're really going to see how good he is in this game. And he was unreal last year as well. I think he was picked in the centers as well. He just excels in rep jerseys as well, just like Gaga. He really excels when he puts those rep jerseys on. But even for Canberra, he's so unbelievable, and he's going to be unreal. I think
he's got a lot to prove to a lot of people this year. Well, I don't think he's got lots to prove, but I think with him being away. And I think the Raiders didn't look like they missed him especially last year, but just the way that the Raiders went last year, I think that his presence was definitely, or his lack of a presence was felt. I think coming back into this year, he's going to surprise a few people how much he actually means to that Raiders side.
Oh, for sure. And from what I'm hearing as well, a little sneaky like insight into Raiders camp, I think Chance Nicole Clockstad is going to be in the centers and Xavier Savage is going to be at fullback. So putting him in the centers here, it's really going to see how he goes.
Bit of try before you buy.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly, I can't wait to see the Raiders. I'm really excited for them because they've got Jamal Fogarty as well, who you sort of kicked out of your starting 13. We won't talk about that. No, and I think he'll complement Jack Whiten so well. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting side. Going into the halves now. Cody Walker and not Jamal Fogarty anymore. You got Nico Hines at 7.
Yes, big Nico.
Talk about the halves.
Was there two more? Oh, well, obviously Turbo and Cleary. If you take them out of the NRL last year, these two run the NRL last year, don't they? Cody Walker. For those that don't, I could talk about Cody Walker underwater, but 33 try assists, 16 tries, was one pass away from a premiership. Well, it would have been one of the best years as a South player ever. I have huge raps on Cody Walker. Everyone loves to say, oh, but when it comes to the New South Wales side and in big games, he kind of goes into his shell. Last year, he wasn't in his shell in this rep game. And then I know a lot of people don't want to put a lot of stock into this game, but it matters a lot to these boys. So I think Cody Walker is honestly the best 6 in the game, best 6 in the world. And Nico Hines, Jesus, where did he come from? Where was he hiding? And I was shocked. I think because I was playing Supercoach the year before, he played a couple games, and he got picked up off waivers in our draft league last year. And just the whole vibe when someone gets picked up off waivers because they're filling in for someone, you just kind of feel like, oh, yeah, but they'll go away soon. He played damn near the whole season last year. He could play anywhere. And what did he get? I think he had 7 tries, 17 assists. So, I mean, like I said, this team needed more tries last year, only getting one. Well, there's 17 on the year for Nico. Surely he'll be able to cook something up. And then also Cody, Gags, AJ out on that left-hand side. I mean, and then you'll have Nico out on the right-hand side running next to Fox. That link up's still there. I mean, yeah, those two pick themselves, don't they?
Yeah, so it's gonna be such a good game. I honestly can't get over how good of a game this is gonna be.
It's so close too. We're less than a month away. Meaningful footy is so close.
Honestly, just chewing my nails, just waiting. So my halves here, arguably two of the on-form halves at the moment as well. You've got Jerome Hughes and Jerome Luai. They were on form in 2021. They were unreal. Jerome Hughes was arguably like one of the best players in that Storm side, to be honest.
Oh yeah, for sure. One of the most important, I think.
Oh, and most improved as well. I think going from fullback to halfback, people don't get how hard changing position is mid-season. He was fullback for a few rounds. And then he sort of shifted into that halfback role. But once he got into that halfback role, he just blew everyone away. He was unbelievable. And he played really well in the last one of these games as well. So I'm really keen to see how he goes in this game and how he goes with Jerome Luai as his halves partner. And I think, again, Jerome Luai is one of those guys that just picks himself as well. He was really on par, and no one really talks about his season because obviously he's partnered with Nathan Cleary. So Nathan Cleary sort of steals the thunder, but I don't think
this kind of game really lends well to Jerome Luai's touch footy kind of style of play, the way that he just kind of looks at your dancers around you. And like someone like Jerome Hughes, he's a steady hand, kind of like Nathan. I think that those two, seeing them on paper there, that is scary. That definitely rivals, if not exceeds, Cody and Nico, just by the sheer the stability that Hughes can bring, matched with that like nice little fancy footwork of Jerome Luai.
Well, you know what? For me, it depends where they're playing. If they're playing on a fast track and a fast game, this is going to be such a deadly halves pairing. I'll tell you that right now. It is going to be such a deadly halves pairing because that's where Jerome Luai really exceeds on that fast track.
He's just like a conductor, isn't he? He's like a metronome out there.
Unbelievable. I can't wait to watch him next year as well with Nathan. And I think if he really steps up in his game a bit, not that he needs to, but if he really starts playing some really good footy, geez, him and Nathan Cleary will be in the conversation together.
He almost went back into his shell a bit last year when Burton started just bossing it. When Burton came out and was like, bang, here you go. I'm a half, but now I'm just going to play like a Dally M Centre of the Year for you. And because he was slotted in there on Luai's edge, I think it kind of like on paper took away from some of the things Luai was doing because that final ball was coming out of Matt Burton's hands. So those try assists were going into Matt Burton. So I think with him, it sounds funny that losing a guy like Burton might improve someone's game. But I think taking Burton's hands off the ball and putting it back into Luai's, I think if you're playing Supercoach this year, I think Luai, for that fact alone, he's going to have a lot more of the hands on the ball. I think last year, the year that they went all the way, not last year, the year before, when they went all the way to the grand final, everyone was talking about Luai this, Luai that. And then I just think Matt Burton came in and just had just a crazy year, took away from some of the things that Luai was doing, like you said, that Nathan does. But I think, I think this year Luai is about to, he's with his best mate out there on that left edge.
Oh, and he's getting
with Villy as well. I think he's there to let people know that, hey, just because we won it doesn't mean we're done with it, you know.
Yeah, well, you know what? They're getting Christian Crichton in that centre spot as well, and he was on fire. He was another guy that no one really talked about, Christian Crichton. That's Stephen Crichton's older brother. He was at the Bulldogs for a long while, and he was playing a bit of fullback. He was playing a bit of wing, and he just killed it. He was scoring try after try every game, and I'm surprised the Bulldogs let him go, to be honest. But it's a great signing.
They had to make room somehow, didn't they?
Oh, it's
when
such a good signing
for the NRL.
Yeah. All right. So we talked about the fullback. We talked about the wingers. We talked about centers and halves. Let's get into the deadly front rows that we both have.
Well, this is where it gets a bit interesting because I'll take my back line over your back line, but I'm a bit of a Ferrari here, aren't I? I'm a bit of, what do they say, like a half-built car. Like I'm very flashy at the back, but then when we're coming up the front, these blokes are solid and they're going to do a job, but they don't quite look like what you got up the front.
Yeah, I know, for sure. Oh, yeah, I'd take your back line any day of the week, to be honest. I'd take your back line, your back row, probably your lock as well. But yeah, you've got a pretty deadly 11 to 13 and then 1 to 5 as well. But talking about the two front rowers up front, you've got Jermaine Tamar Brown and Adam Elliott. Give us a little rundown on why you picked these blokes.
These two guys are eligible to play in the All-Stars game.
Fair enough. Okay, next one.
I mean, Jermaine Tamar Brown, if you play this again, I'm talking about Supercoach. You play Supercoach, he was a cheapie last year, the year before at the Warriors, just been signed by the Cows. Interesting guy. I think his potential is a bit untapped. He looked good. He played last year, limited minutes in the All-Stars game, but he played. Adam Elliott, everyone knows what he can do. He's just a bit of a unit, isn't he? I think he's actually signed on for the Raiders this year as well, like they needed any more forwards. But these are two guys that are just going to ruck up the ball and let the guys at the back do what they do. You know what I mean? So there's not too many trimmings on my pack, but yeah, they're going to do what they need to do to get space for Cody and Nico to do what they're going to do.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good front row pairing, and Adam Elliott, I think, it's his redemption season this season. And I think, again, people forget how good Adam Elliott is, especially in the middle. He's sort of got shoved on the back row a lot for the Bulldogs, and they sort of just left him there. People forget how good of a middle. He's a good lock forward, and he could play a good front row spot off the bench as well. I'm excited to see what he can do at Canberra as well. And Jermaine Tamar Brown, quite a good forward for the New Zealand Warriors, and then, as you said, he's gone off to the Cows now. It's going to be a really interesting signing for them, and two really good front rowers there.
I think one thing that I did write down is that nobody last year for the Indigenous boys played 80 minutes, and if you look at my bench, there's not going to be too much respite for these two blokes up front. So I'm going to be asking them to break the trend of last year. They're going to need to be playing 80 minutes because I've gone pretty gung-ho with the attack. There's no one backing them up here. So, I mean, I'm not Wayne Bennett. I'm just picking names on the sheet. But, yeah, they're going to need to break the trend there. That's 2 years in a row, the 80-minute thing for the Indigenous boys. Well, but we're not taking it easy. Adam and Jermaine, they're getting their minutes up.
I was looking at the teams on Wikipedia as well, and I thought I'd keep it simple with the 17, but like there's 20 players in that squad. It's a 6 or 7 man bench.
Yeah.
So I thought
everyone gets, it's like a footy carnival. Everyone gets on as it go, you know. So
yeah. Well, that's why I was like, I'm going to keep this simple. I'm just going to keep it 1 to 17. I'm not going to make it too complicated. But yeah, no, the sides are huge. So no wonder no one played 80 minutes. It's, as you said, it's just like a footy carnival, to be honest. For my front row, I've got a pretty deadly front row. We're talking about front rowers in our game. James Fisher-Harris, near the top of the leaderboard for like the best front rowers in the game at the moment. He's near the tippity top.
Surely.
And then Jesse Bromwich as well. He's just signed with the Dolphins.
Yeah. Breaking news. Big Les breaking the news.
Breaking news. Woo!
What do you think of that?
Yeah, I know. It was. I didn't expect it at all. I thought he'd be a one club man. Honestly, thought he'd be.
Before we jumped on, I saw that there's news that they might have signed Mark Nichols to the Dolphins.
Mark Nichols, and apparently they're on the verge of signing Anthony Milford if he passes his court case, because Souths have torn up his contract. I know.
Oh, jeez.
It's a big headache, but like it's weird though. Like I'm probably gonna do a podcast on this like later on, but Wayne Bennett, he signed 3 players in the space of 4 weeks. All of a sudden, he's signed 3 players in one day. Yeah, it's like the DJ Khaled of Dolphin signings. Like it was just another one.
Dangerous. Yeah, that's it. I mean, but just the 9 news articles must have been getting to him. Wayne's not doing this. Wayne's not doing that. Yeah, have this then. Bang,
yeah,
bang,
exactly.
Bang.
Like I could definitely sign people. It's not a problem with me. Here's an example. Come to my club. holding out a big sign at the front of the Dolphins building.
Dolphins retirement village.
But honestly, oh god, hey, I haven't got anyone in the coaching staff yet. If you're soon to retire, come on
That's
down.
what he meant when he said we're building foundations for the club. He's getting all these boys with experience into nice cushy coaching jobs.
Oh god, yeah. You're gonna start hearing Jesse Bromwich has been signed on for a 2-year deal plus a 2-year extension as an assistant coach. Oh my god.
Oh.
But anyway, these guys just honestly picked themselves. You got Jesse Bromwich with the experience, and then you got James Fisher-Harris with just the absolute grit, the absolute power that he just bestows and that he just uses in every game. He's just
deadly, isn't he? He's a scary man.
And like, we underrate him, and then the next week he'll just do something unbelievable, and we're just like, oh, he's just an absolute monster. But anyway, we'll move on to the number 9 spots. So you've got Ruben Cotter in here, and I'm pretty sure he was in the side last year. Just give us a bit of a rundown about Ruben Cotter and why he's in your Indigenous side.
There's nothing that I could say about Ruben Cotter that the rugby league guru hasn't already said 1,000 times. He's in love with this bloke, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think the big thing with Cotter is he can play 9, he can play 30. He's a bit of a utility. He's all right off 9. He's good at putting the ball where the boys need it off the ground. But he can also drop back kind of in a Cam McInnes type of role if he needs to, and play. And I've got Connor Watson on the bench to allow for that in this hypothetical world that we're creating. That if Ruben will have to play 80 minutes if he drops back into 13.
No excuses.
And then Connor Watson jumps up into 9. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm all on Ruben Cotter. Me being a Cows fan, being at the 2015 grand final and crying doesn't have any impact on the pick at all. No, there's no bias. I just think that Ruben Cotter is the best 9 in the game right now. I think he'll surprise a lot of people this year. If he's not in people's mouths now, his name's not in people's mouths now. It will be come March 5th when the season kicks off. Everyone will probably know who Ruben Cotter is, especially if you've got any ties to fantasy. He's going to be on a lot of people's teams. And especially if Guru keeps banging the drum, fighting the good fight for there's got to be something good coming out of the Cowboys over the next few years.
He'll put Nathan Cleary to shame. He'll be the most owned guy on Supercoach. And then Nathan's going to be calling up Guru like, what have you done to me? I felt so good before.
But let's talk about you with the cheese, the late minute call up.
The late minute call up.
We forgot.
The late minute call up the cheese. I can't believe that I forgot the cheese. Like, his name's been in the media's mouth for what, like 4 months, and I'm just forgot about him. I was looking at all the past sides, and all I saw was Jeremy Marshall King, and I don't know how Brandon Smith's name wasn't there. So just to let you know, people who are listening, Wikipedia is an absolute piece of shit and doesn't do anything for anyone. Can't believe it didn't say Brandon Smith. I was shocked. But Brandon Smith is my number 9 now. Jeremy Marshall King, I'm sorry, mate, but you'll be playing 18 off the bench. There's plenty of other bench spots there for you, mate. So you just hop right in. I'll keep you in mind.
Good.
But Brandon Smith, he is a freak. And last time he played, we were talking about this before. He was a monster. I think he scored 2 tries. I think it was, and yeah,
he played through an injury as well, or something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh, it was like maybe a jaw and eye socket.
Yeah, I think it was a jaw. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember, but yeah, it was probably a jaw and eye socket. But he played so well.
His facial fracture. I've just looked it up.
Yeah,
his bellyache would have loved that.
Jesus. I thought it was something in the face, but yeah, facial fracture. That's hectic.
And he played through it.
Yeah, he's just an absolute weapon. I can't believe he's off to the Roosters. Like, when you think the Roosters couldn't possibly sign anyone else, they surprise you, and they sign one of the best players in the game.
I'm sick of living on this world where the Roosters are as good as they are. I don't know if I can do it for 3-4 more years. I just... They're too scary every year.
Yeah, well, I'm a South supporter, so they really.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. I'm a Cows fan, but my old boy is diehard Souths. When they were kicked out of the league, all that. So he's not just diehard Souths; he's diehard South and raised me as a Brisbane boy to hate the Broncos, who were responsible for South getting out of the league to a degree. So I've watched pretty much as many South games as I has Cows games. So if the Souths aren't my favourite team and the Cows are, at least I share the hatred for the Roosters that all you guys do.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, exactly. But it's not so much. It's a bit of a weird little philosophy. Like, I don't hate the Roosters. It's just that, like, I don't like the fact that they just get whoever they want. It's like
it's a strange.
It's just
one.
that South. It's that South mentality.
I don't hate any of the Roosters players. All their players are so elite that, like, there's not really a bad pick of the bunch.
Yeah.
So what do they say? Hate the sinner, not the sin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love all the players. I love the culture. It's just that, yeah. When you're talking to me as a South fan, I'm just not for the Roosters at all. But anyway, not talking about who our clubs and our bias. We'll talk about the second rowers in our sides. You've definitely beaten me in that battle. You've got David Fafita and Josh Curran. Curran electric. David Fafita just a monster. Walk us through it.
Is Dave Fafita not the best back rower in the world?
He has to be.
I think every time he touches the ball, something could happen. And not talking about being a Cowboys fan, but I remember back in 2020, brand new stadium for the Cows. First time playing a home game there. And Dave Fafita at the Broncos scored that try from 50 meters out. And that was the homecoming present. So I just, Dave Fafita's been burnt into my memory even more so than he was before that. Everything he does, I'm about it. I love the move to the Titans, going out there to make a name for himself. People hated it and scoffed at it. Get your bag and show everyone. I mean, last year, what did he do? I think he scored something like 17 tries he got last year. I mean, get off it, mate. As a back row, it just should be illegal. Every time he touches the ball, it's a tackle bust or a line break. He's just electric. He's a fullback in a second rower's body, honestly. Yeah. And then Josh Curran, geez, at the back end of last year, and he played for the Indigenous side last year as well, but the back end of last year for the Warriors, woo, didn't he excite some people with that? I think I have a bit of a thing for blokes in headgears. I just shows me that you're about your business. You're here to work. You don't care about.
You got the headgear on. It's
we're
time
not
to
dyeing
work.
our hair. It's just I'm in. I'm locked in. Let's get to business.
You'd be pleased to know that I'm a bit of a headgear specialist as well when I'm playing for Coogee Wombats. So when I'm in there.
Hey, when I was number 9 for the Div 3 under-13s premiership winning side, starting hooker, you better believe I had my Jonathan Thurston headgear on for all 25
for sure. For sure. Mate, I've got my white headgear on. You know when the headgear's on?
Oh, the Reed Marnie special.
The Reed Marnie special. You know when the headgear's on, it means business. It means business. Whoever's got a headgear on is just out there to work. Like, that's just the mentality that the headgear wearing sort of
when
brings.
The headgear's on, that pretty much is sign language for the tone's just been set.
Oh yeah, it blocks out everything that's going on around you. It's sort of like a magneto shield. You're putting this thing on, you're just ready to go. Like, there's nothing stopping you, nothing in your way. The headgear's on.
Nothing. The 2 millimeters of foam just gives you so much confidence.
That the foam is like the material that releases the beast. That's what it is. It just releases the inner beast. But anyway, not talking about myself, not being vain. We're going to go to my second rowers now. We have got Britton Nakora, who I thought had a pretty decent 2021 and wasn't really that talked about. He didn't have the best 2021 compared to other second rowers, but he had a pretty decent year for Cronulla. And then Jordan Ricky, I thought played quite decent as well for the Broncos.
Isn't he exciting? He's
so exciting as a prospect. He is so exciting. I honestly can't wait for him to play next year. I reckon he's going to make... Is he eligible for Maroons?
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon he's going to make Maroons for sure. If it's not the benches, the extended bench for sure. I reckon he's going to make it. I'm
sure he is. I might be wrong, but I'm sure I've seen him in a under under 18s maroon jersey or something like that. But then again, Ronaldo was in an under 16s maroon jersey too, so who knows what the rules
I
are
honestly
these
can't
days.
believe that. He had every right to play that game for the Maroons, and he would have.
You were gonna beat us anyway, boys. You were gonna beat us anyway. Give us.
He would have scored that Edric Lee try.
Oh jeez.
Oh god, but yeah, no, Jordan Ricky is really exciting, and I reckon, yeah, as I said, if he's eligible for either Queensland or New South Wales, we'll happily cop Jordan Ricky in our side. We'll happily take him if he's eligible for New South Wales. But
the thing with the New South Wales side is you can't really fit any more talent in there. You got fullbacks playing in the centres. There's too much going on.
We'll
Imagine Pappenhausen not being in the question for an Origin spot. Like there's so many good fullbacks that no one's even talking about. Should Pappenhausen play fullback? It's just ridiculous.
God. Well, you know what? If Nathan Cleary cuts his face open again, we'll put Jordan Ricky down at number 7, mate. We'll just chuck him in there.
Find somewhere for him.
Chuck him in there. Ricky. Let him go. But I'm pretty sure he is eligible for Queensland, and I reckon he'll make it for sure. Jordan Ricky, he's just an absolute monster and a workhorse, and Britton Nakoro's definitely got a future in front of him as well. I see him playing rep football at some stage. I think he's played for the Kiwis already. But he's a workhorse as well, and for a little frame body, like a little skinny guy, he's not that big compared to other second rowers. He really puts the work in, and he's quite a strong guy as well, Britton Nakora. So big things for both of those boys, and I can't wait to see them in this game. I reckon both of them get selected for sure. I reckon they pick themselves. Going on to the number 13, and you've got a pretty decent number 13 as well. Tyrone Peachey, New West Tiger. Probably where he's going to be playing for the West Tigers, to be honest. He's probably going to be playing that 13 role. So, again, big play, putting Tyrone Peachey in that number 13. Give us a little rundown as to why you put him there.
I was thinking it was a toss-up between Watson and Peachey. I had Watson in there. Yeah, I had Watson in there, but Watson's just elite off the bench. Like he just turns into a different dude off the bench. Peachey last year at the Titans just continued to impress me. I think his run meters last year were pretty ridiculous. I think he likes to get his hands on the ball. I think the Tigers are going to be happy with him. Really, in 22 games, he crossed the line 5 times, and it wasn't extreme run meters, but he ran for about 100 meters a game last year. He's kind of the type of guy that can make something out of nothing from the back row too. He's not shy of a line break or something or an offload. So I think Tyrone's in there to kind of set the tone before Connor Watson comes in and takes the role, or Cotter drops back there. So really those 3 blokes were all fighting for the 13. It's funny because realistically, I swear I might be talking out my ass here, but I'm almost positive I've heard about Peachey playing 9 at some point. So you really have got 3 guys there that can do that McInnes circle through the whole game if I needed to. But yeah, Peachey's at 13 so that Watson can come off the bench and just explode.
Well, it's so funny how similar these guys are. Like you can put them, but you both pretty much put them anywhere in your squad and they'll do something for you. But Tyrone Peachey is just, I hope he just goes to another level in 2022 with the Tigers.
They need
fresh start.
I think the Tigers this year, they're not going to blow anyone out of the water this year, but next year, when Appy comes in and IPAP comes in, you start to kind of see something. I hope Madge gets to stick around to see what he's built. There's questions about him already before we've even touched the ball, but I'm keen to see the Peach at the Tigers this year.
Yeah, honestly, can't wait for it to see him in an Indigenous jersey as well. He's going to rip and tear for them as well, and I really hope he has a awesome game for them. My 13 is Joseph Tarpany, and there's not many other guys you can put at 13, but he does your job. He does the job, and he was really underrated in that Canberra system.
There was a stretch of games last year where he was just bossing it. And then I think he went down with an MCL sprain or something.
He did something to himself, yeah. And then after that, Ricky just wasn't putting him in the side, and he actually had a blow up. I remember he had a blow up halfway through the year, and his wife got involved.
Yes, I do remember this. Yes.
Yeah, he had it, but it was he's an awesome player, and I can't wait to see him in the He does. I was actually at the game. They were versing the Roosters, and somehow I think Hodgson gave him the ball, and he just runs this diagonal line towards the sideline and breaks through like 5 of the Roosters defenders and puts the ball down. Do you remember that try?
Yeah,
It was
that's the whole thing about your side, man. They're kind of they're not going to go left or right, but if they're going right forward, you don't have too many blokes in your pack that aren't going to run a straight line and knock someone over, do you?
Yeah, no, it's a pretty gritty side. But the thing I noticed as well, it's a very fast football side. So everything can just happen like that. It's really like touch footy sort of side, which I think suits Jerome Luai and Jerome Hughes really well. It's going to make them really stand out. And especially Kalen Ponga as well, just coming off the back of that.
KP loves that type of play.
Oh, this is such an attractive brand of football, and I can't wait to see the Maori All-Stars play. All right, we're going to go through the bench players one at a time. You've got Connor Watson at 14. I've got Kenneth Bromwich. We'll go through Connor Watson at first. We've sort of already talked about Connor Watson, but
yeah.
Just give him a bit of a rundown.
Well, like Watson off the bench last year, if you're playing fantasy or Supercoach last year on Supercoach, 60 points off the bench. It's just at that Knights team, that's illegal. That's not natural. That's not normal to come off the bench, play 55 odd minutes and score 60 points. That's just ridiculous. When he enters the field off the bench, it's like John Cena running into a Royal Rumble, isn't it? It's like it just changes it. Like he just shows up and he's just like, all right, we're gonna play footy now. Okay, you've all been playing for 20 minutes, so you're a bit tired. Yeah, I can run over you or around you, by the way. And I can jump in at hooker if I need to. Oh, you want me to do a hit up? I can do that. You want me to play fullback? I can play fullback. Oh, I need to jump in 6, coach? Oh, I'll jump in 6. What can't this bloke do? He'll play prop if you want him to. And down there, like, I think this is a curtain opener for Connor Watson because, I mean, I don't know how many people watched him at the Knights last year and the year before, but this year at the Roosters, playing that utility role, geez, you're going to be hearing a lot about Connor Watson this year.
Well, what I'm hearing, I'm hearing he's starting 9. I'm hearing that Verrills might not even be in the starting 17. Like I reckon Watson will be at 9, and then they're probably
the idea that Verrills goes to the bench or just to the Rezzies.
Well, it could play the bench. They've still got Lockie Lamb in the squad. They've still got Adam Kieran. They've still got.
I'd love to see Connor be able to he is good at 9. I do love to see him play a bit of first receiver and off the ball as well. It will be. That's the thing with the Roosters. They got so much talent, don't they? Like you look at their back line, most of those blokes walk onto any side.
Well, you know what
they've got too many.
You know what I'd sort of like to see from Watson, and you might not agree, but I reckon it'd be sick and suit him so well. Do you remember Josh Hodgson at the back end of last year? He played hooker for the first 20, 30 minutes, and then he just turned into this roaming lock role while Tom Starling was on the field and just...
Yeah. That's what I want. That's what I want Connor to do. I think Connor, what's he, like 6 years younger than Josh?
Yeah. God, he'd be deadly.
He's still got that. He's still so quick. I got major raps on Connor Watson. I really like watching him play footy. Yeah, I think he's won the NRL community award 2 years in a row now. He's just there's not too many things to not like about Connor Watson.
Yeah, he's just
an all-round good bloke who's like the best all-rounder in rugby league right now.
Yeah, for sure. He's such a good bloke. Yeah, I think he broke Kalen Ponga's heart too when he moved to the Roosters, and
I think he broke the Knights' hearts because I think that might have been if Jaden Brayley wasn't already kicking a dead horse, then Connor leaving to Bondi, that pretty much signed KP's Dolphins.
And him and Croaks would have been so upset. Yeah. Oh, that would have been hectic. But moving on to my 14, putting the light on in my eyes for a minute, we got Kenneth Bromwich. I picked him because I just think he's really underrated, and people don't really like this guy. But I have huge raps on him. He's much more. I'm trying to think of the word, but like he can play multiple positions, and people just don't realize about him. Like, there was one game Craig Bellamy put him at 9 and changed it last minute, but he was going to play not like hooker. He's so versatile. That's the word I was looking for. He's so versatile. Got a great kicking game for a back rower as well. He's sort of like a bigger version of Wade Graham, and I know that's a bit of a full-on comparison, but that's just what I see in him, and I think he's got so much potential moving forward. And he's played a while, But I just think he's got so much more left in him, Kenneth Bromwich, and I think he'd play a great role, whether he comes on and plays lock, back row, even just a bit of front row, to be honest. I think he'd do a really good job here for the Maori All-Stars. The next guy we've got on our benches, so you've got Jack Whiten. Give us a rundown on Jack Whiten. His name was in the mud for most of the year, and it wasn't even his fault. He's such a talented guy.
A Dally M winner on the bench. I mean, come on. Like, Jack can play in the centres. Jack can play in the halves. He could play 7 or 6 if you really wanted him to. He can play number 1 if Jaden Campbell goes down. Dally M Player of the Year. There's question marks about how that exactly happened, but he did win it. Took his team alongside Blake Austin to the grand final. Was a 6 again away from winning a premiership. I think Jack, he was a little bit like ran through mud last year, but he didn't have anyone next to him that could control the game. And I think with someone like Jamal, who I did drag at the start of this, but someone like Jamal to come in and like with that steady hand, give Jack a bit of the ability to boss the game. I think people start talking about Jack Whiten again this year, but in this game, off the bench, he's a bit like Connor, isn't he? You can throw him in and do whatever he wants.
Yeah, no, he's an absolute freak. You put him at 13, you can put him at 12, put him in the centres. You can put him anywhere on this team as well, and he could just play anywhere. So I like it how you've got those sort of versatile guys on your bench. It really suits the team. For me, though, my number 15, I've got Big Nels. The Big Nelson. We didn't even know if he's going to be in the NRL by the time this game's over.
By the time this game
he might even be. Yeah, he might be in Japan by the time we're watching this game, and that's quite sad as well because I liked Big Nelson. It's over a vaccination. I mean, look, and I'm not going to make a big deal about this at all, but and look, he might have his own reasons as to why he's not getting vaccinated and stuff like that, and I'm not going to tell him to or not to get vaccinated, but I think for NRL, it should be the player's choice. And I think at the end of the day, everyone's going to get it. So,
yeah.
I mean, I reckon in a year or so time, the vaccinations aren't even going to matter, to be honest. So
I think what they were saying today, I saw some stuff coming out of the RLPA that they think that the mandate for the players might disappear, but at the same time, what's not really helping Nels is it's single digits, the players that aren't vaccinated in the NRL. So I think there'll be a bit of pressure from the other boys to just be
I think it's
listen, mate, it's kind of just you, bro.
I know, we're just waiting. We're waiting for you, mate. Come on. No, but
I think it's just left, really.
It's literally just him and Taumalolo, yeah. So
I think the boys will just kind of be like,
geez, just giving him a nudge on the shoulder, like, there's this place. I know you can get a needle and help us both out. But no, look, it's his choice at the end of the day, and if that means he's off to Japanese rugby, then
hey, get your standards bag. I'm sure they pay him nice over there.
I'm not sure what the standards are over there for vaccines and whatnot, but he might be going to visit Blake Ferguson while he's up there in that Japanese prison as well. And I know that was a bit of a heavy little joke there, but I had to say it.
Hey, I was about to make it, and then I didn't, so I'm glad.
Well, I had to throw it in there for sure. But
elephant in the room.
Yeah, God. And the funny part is, if Blake Ferguson was still in the NRL, he'd probably be in this game, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure he would be. I'd try and fit. He could get in there and they could take
he'd have a spot in there on the bench for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Big Nelson, if he's still in the NRL, I think he'll really have a good impact off the bench. A big front rower coming on and just absolutely tearing it up, ripping and tearing. That's exactly what you want in these sort of sides. So that's why I picked Big Nels. I think there's pretty much no one else that's left that could really make a big impact off the bench like Nels. The next players we've got, number 16s, we've both got backs here. You've got Nico. Oh, you did have Nico Hines.
Yeah, I did have Nico.
And now you've got Jamal Fogarty. Jamal Fogarty.
So I guess I can't have Jamal on the bench. He doesn't really do a job. I might call up Sammy Thaiday, see what he's doing, if he can throw on the jersey one last time. See if he's busy in early Feb. He might be able to get around it. He only needs to play 15 minutes or so off the bench. He'll be right. I don't know
Jeez.
who I'd throw in there.
Fair enough, man. But look, at the moment, you've sort of got Jamal Fogarty on there. Jamal doesn't even know what he's doing. He's like, what's this guy doing with me? He's left me on the bench and now he's telling me I'm not playing. Come on.
Sam Fido's here and Budgie Smugglers. What's going on? Yeah, I think Jamal, like I said, we spoke about Jamal before. Hey, I might as well. Hey, if I have Jamal on the bench, I've got the Raiders halves on the bench. I can give both my halves a spell.
That'd be, oh, mate. I'll
Just
tell you what.
hockey style substitutions. Sub out the halves pair and throw in a new one.
Oh,
Yeah, let's do that. Let's keep Jamal on the bench and we'll do the hockey swap.
Keep Jamal on the bench. Give us a rundown then about Jamal and the season he's going to have and just give us a bit of a rundown on, well, even though you're about to kick him out, why you've got him in your side.
He did a job last year. It's a shame he's as slow as he is. I think that's what people normally think about these days after what happened with Big Papa. But I think Jamal, a lot of people laughed at that move, but I think what happens is so many people just don't rate anything about the Titans to a degree that any product that comes out of the Titans, they just go, oh, he's no good. But Jamal is good. Jamal, despite what I said, Jamal, nice steady hand. He's not going to blow any barn doors off or anything like that. But like I say, he's a serviceable 7. I think he's going to free up Jack this year. No, I like him at the Raiders. I think that's a smart move. I'm tell you what, I bet the Knights wish they did that.
Yeah, I know for sure.
I bet the Knights wish they did something.
But you know what? Honestly, I reckon the Knights' only hope is to call up someone from the Super League for cheap. Like an Aiden Caesar or a Blake Austin or something like that.
Or like a Mitchell Pearce or something like that.
Come back! God, they wish.
Well, they're not giving up on this Luke Brooks thing, which I
don't mind.
I made a video and I said they're trying to fix their halfback problem with the Tigers halfback problem.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't get how you could be that red hot on Luke Brooks.
You know what? Honestly, I reckon he'll go well with Jake Clifford in the halves. I reckon Jake Clifford's going to take so much pressure off him, and I think he is $1 million man over there at the Tigers. So it's going to be the Ash Taylor effect. It's going to take a lot of pressure off him if he goes there. We'll have Jake Clifford there to sort of help him out and ease him into it. We'll have KP running off him. I think it's just going to relieve so much pressure. Yeah, well, yeah. If he doesn't go to the Dolphins or he doesn't, go to apparently he's rumored to go to the All Blacks. So
I don't know. I've seen that. I just don't know if KP's big enough to play rugby.
Oh well, I think him and Roger would be similar sizes.
Yeah,
you reckon?
I reckon Roger's a bit broader than KP.
Roger's a bit bulky. Yeah, I know what you mean, but geez, I reckon KP
I don't
would
know.
go
Like when you see some of these rugby boys, and they're just like houses, bro. They're just. I imagine KP at the bottom of one of those scrums.
Oh mate, I couldn't. He'd be rolling off the side of it.
You'd need the headgear, that's for sure. Hey, he does have the headgear. You could do.
You'd have to add like 2 or 3 extra layers of foam onto that headgear just to keep his head safe.
Hey, well, if you do see him, they don't catch you, which means they don't tackle you. So I guess he's all right.
Unless Cheslin Colby's the one marking him. Jesus Christ. He'd do a job on KP. Fuck.
Eat him for breakfast, brother.
Oh, my God. But yeah, Jamal Fogarty, absolute weapon of a player, and he'd be so good for a game like this, coming off the bench and maybe like 20 minutes or, halfway through a game and just absolutely ripping and tearing. I've got Dylan Walker, and he's another guy known for coming off the bench and just absolutely ripping and tearing for Manly as well. He was sensational in 2021. He was a breath of
fresh air last year, wasn't he? When they looked, what? They looked like they were going to be the Spooners at the start of last year.
And all of a sudden,
putrid.
Tommy Turbo comes back, and it's just a different story.
But I remember, I think I was watching Manly South at the start of last year.
I love that.
Pissing down rain. Half their stadium was under construction. They were getting pumped. But I just remember watching Dylan Walker try to put it on against his old club from memory. Anyway, it might have been that game, but just whenever you see Dylan Walker out there, he just really gives it a go. especially
Yeah.
when he's up against South, trying to remind them what they missed out on. But I
Yeah.
like Dylan Walker.
Fuck, I like him too. He's such a good player, and jeez, he's gonna ask for a bigger contract. How much? Do you know? Have you got there? How many Supercoach points he got last year? He would have got heaps.
I think you'd be surprised.
Really?
I'll
Jeez.
tell you right now. Hold up.
That's
Dylan
weird.
Walker.
Some players play really well and they get really shit scores.
Oh, you look at someone like Adam Reynolds. He's got to be top 5 halfbacks in the world, and he's just Dylan Walker. Yeah, he's only averaged 44 points a game. But
Really?
take into consideration that was on 53 minutes a game. So he had a PPM of 0.84. So he's almost scoring a point a minute. So you'd have to imagine he plays 80 minutes, he scores 60 points, gets him into the conversation of someone that you pick up. I think he finished the season all right for last year. Here we go. Finished last season averaging about 60 points, 58, 60, 58, 59. And that was on, not a lot of minutes. So, he finished strong last year, but I just don't think he gets the minutes to be Supercoach relevant.
If they put his minutes up, he'd be a cheapie to get, wouldn't he? Far out.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my god, I'm changing up my fantasy side. He's going in there for sure. he'd be an absolute unit in that side. He'd be top point scorer. If he played 80 minutes, he'd be top point scorer for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Unless they put him at fullback, but we won't talk about that.
Hopefully they don't put him at fullback. Hopefully Turbo gets a year.
And I have so much respect for Dylan Walker, but he had a shock when he was filling in. I'm just going to say that now. But he's so good coming off the bench. I feel like he's better coming off the bench than when he is starting.
Yeah, a bit like Connor.
Yeah, okay. And the last players on our bench, the last guys, you got Tyrell Fuimeano. What a freak. What an absolute monster. Now, while he wasn't really talked about in 2021, the year before then, 2020 was sort of his year, pretty much. Tyrell Fuimeano, give us a bit of a rundown on him.
So Tyrell kind of was another one of those picks where he is eligible, get him in. But he ran for 76 meters a game last year, played 17 games at St. George, wasn't really the easiest going at St. George for anyone last year. So the fact that anyone had anything noteworthy out of that side was pretty handy. Still a young guy from what I understand. I think he's early 20s. Could be wrong though. But he's just, I'll be honest, Les, he's number 17. He's just kind of seen him pop up a few times in the last few years, and I whacked him on there to give the boys a bit of respite off the bench. I'll be completely honest with you.
5 minutes playing time, you just love it. The last 5 minutes of the game, here you go, buddy. You can have a turn now. All good. We're winning. It's all right. You can take the reins.
Something like that was the thought process for sure.
Well, I've got Patrick Herbert, and I think even though he's a centre, he's got a bit of a big frame to him. So
he does.
You could chuck him. You can chuck him in the back row if you really wanted to, but geez, he's an absolute monster, and people sort of judge him on that last pass that lost them the game against the Roosters. Oh, that was so hectic to watch. My heart was pounding for the last 10 minutes of that game.
It's not Ben Hunt levels, but it's he'll feel like it is.
Oh, I mean, my dad is a mad Roosters supporter, and we were watching it at his place in Coogee, and he was going off the walls. He nearly punched a hole in the wall. Dead set, like that last run that they had, before Herbert passed.
I've been watching it recently. It keeps on coming up on my TikTok and on Instagram Reels and stuff. I just keep on seeing that pass for whatever reason. It's brutal. But that run of play, they like when you just look at the pass isolated, you think, things happen. But you look at the 30 seconds prior, the run that they were on, the Titans, they were all money. If someone paused the game and said, how much money for this next play to be a try, I probably would have put the house on it. I'd be living out of a box down at Queen Street Mall.
Well, you know what? I would have probably taken the house off you because my dad would have nearly punched the walls down on mine. So it was hectic. Like he was jumping up and down like a 3-year-old girl, like waiting for chocolates and lollies. Like he was literally off the walls. It was crazy, and
it was
the most stressful 10 minutes of our lives. To
The
be
old
honest.
boys love it, don't they? The old
Yeah.
boys love it.
Oh, they do. It was hectic, and then the Roosters just won, and he was almost crying. It was like it was so hectic. I was so stressed out, but I was spewing because I wanted the Roosters to lose. Obviously, being a South
yeah,
supporter.
yeah.
So I'm
for
just sitting
sure.
there taking that last pass in like Patrick. Come on, mate. What's going on? But you know,
Hopefully he can redeem himself.
yeah,
come
I
February.
bloody hope so in this game. You better redeem yourself. Number 17, get out there, son. Last 5 minutes of the game. No shit passes. Actually, you know what? He's banned from passing. He just has to run the ball straight. That's
Lock it up.
Yeah.
Lock it up and
Lock it
hit
up.
the deck, mate.
But geez, 2 really good lineups. We'll do a little speed run just to remind the people of who we've got in our teams. You read out yours first, then I'll read out mine second. Just a little speed run of the lineup.
So we got Jaden Campbell, Josh Adokar, Gags, Kelly, AJ, Cody Walker, Nico Hines, Jermaine Tanua-Brown, Ruben Cotter, Adam Elliott, Dave Fafita, Josh Curran, Tyrone Peachy, Connor Watson, Jack Whiten, my favourite Jamal Fogarty, and Tyrell Fuimaono.
Boom. That's a sick team. And then we've got the Maori All-Stars. Coming in for the win, the Maori All-Stars are. We've got Kalen Ponga, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, and Bailey Simonson on the wings. We've got Joseph Manu and Charles Nicole Clockstad in the centres. Jerome Luai and Jerome Hughes, the 2 Jeromes in the halves. We've got James Fisher Harris and Jesse Bromwich in the front row with Jeremy. No, we don't have Jeremy Marshall King anymore. We have Brandon Smith. Brandon Smith at number 9. We have got Britton Nakora and Jordan Ricky in the back row with Joseph Tarpany at lock. And then your bench, it is Kenneth Bromwich, Nelson Asofa Solomona, Dylan Walker, and Patrick Herbert. Boom.
I like it.
Well, there you go, Don. That's it. We are done. Thank you for coming on, brother. It was absolutely
any time, my man. That was good fun.
Such good fun, and really enjoyed it. And it is going to be a sick game. And then I'm pretty sure the day of the game, if I'm not mistaken, we've got Robert Whittaker and the Stylebender fighting in the UFC as well. So that is going to be a big day for those footy fans and UFC fans.
And I'm off to Wynnum to watch the Wynnum Sea Eagles take on the Brizzy Broncos in a trial match. It's a big day to sport,
that is a big day. I think just quietly, I think the Broncos might smash Jimmy Fedham Reynolds is in the side, but
it's just a hunch. Just a hunch.
Just a little hunch. I reckon if Adam Reynolds is in that side, I reckon Wynnum probably have no chance. And I miss Reynolds so much. I absolutely loved him, but I have to love you and leave you, Don. It was an absolute pleasure having you on, and anytime, man, anytime, absolute pleasure.
Big LEZ's League.